How did the magazine get started?
Yeah, how'd you get involved in all of that?
Well, the magazine first started with when I raced motocross.
Right. So
I raced motocross my whole life, and then got involved with a lot of the brands. A lot of the brands I sold for, like No Fear, Spy sunglasses, and when I traveled throughout the day, I was like, man, every major region has a magazine but Florida. So I'm like, I'm going to do a magazine for motocross in Florida. I had no idea. At that time, I don't even know if I had a computer. Like, we were talking 90, 99, 98, 99. So, I'm just starting to learn how to use a word processor on a computer. So I actually went to a buddy of mine that had a magazine and said, well, what would you charge me to put something together? And it was like so ridiculous, I couldn't afford it. But I just did it myself. So I started playing with the computer. I'd get a story from a writer. I didn't know how to copy and paste. Literally, I would print the story out and retype it. That's how new I was. But I learned real quickly and started the motocross magazine. So I did that, and it was an instant hit. Made money day one. And then about a year into that, I'm like, this is easy. I'm going to do one where the community where I live.
Right.
And started Plant City.
Damn.
And then next year we launched Pasco, and then Lakeland, then Winter Haven, then South Tampa, then New Tampa, then Inverness, Tavares. We launched them all over.
Where'd you get the name from?
There was no real rhythm or rhyme to it. It was just, I don't know, focus. We just kind of,
it's good.
Community focus.
Okay.
Kind of like our thing. We're focusing on the community, so it just seemed like a cool name.
And then it grew to what it was during the height, right? What was the height of it?
During the height we were publishing 13 monthlies. Now, out of the 13, about 9 of them were focuses, and then we did, I had a Christian magazine we did called Inspire Monthly. We did we did Crime Stoppers magazine. We we published a couple monthlies for churches specific, like their newsletters were magazines, and we published it for them. And I had my motocross magazine, I had a BMX magazine. We were on, imagine 13 deadlines every single month. It was intense, but yeah, that was our peak. We did 13 of them.
So I'm sure there were a lot of people that wanted to start, right? Oh, I have a good idea. I want to start this publication or whatever.
Yeah.
So how did you get the backing to do all that? You went kind of from I have this idea to we have 13 deadlines,
Yeah, well, it all started from nothing, I didn't have any money when I started. So when we first started our first publication, it was kind of a weird scenario how it worked. I've always kind of worked for myself. I've had maybe one job ever in my life, 2 maybe. I was an importer for a pipe company out of Europe. So we imported exhaust systems for motorcycles.
Okay.
And in the building we were at, we had one of our neighboring businesses. One of the guys there became really good friends with me, and he was like, I just got laid off. I have nothing to do. I want to, publishing. Can you set me up with the motocross magazine? We didn't have the resources to bring someone on for the motocross magazine. So I have this great idea. We'll do a magazine in the community where I live. And so we started pursuing that, and once again, I had no money. It was kind of, everything was shoestring. We're putting it on credit cards and just trying to get by. So the funding, it was just, I remember paying rent for the first time, getting my first office, going, how am I going to pay for this? I don't even know how I'm going to do it. And South Florida Baptist Hospital, our first advertiser, paid their entire ad bill up front. I was like, okay, I got rent now.
Nice.
I'm good. So it just kind of started, it built slowly, but it did build quickly. Within our first year, we were, and second year and third year, we were doubling every single year. It was just you hired the right people. We had a good sales staff, and it's like nobody could stop us. We were moving so fast. The magazine was growing so fast, and And so you just kind of keep adding one at a time. And I can pretty much say that like almost every time we added a publication, it made money day one. Like we didn't lose. We at least broke even or made money day one. So once you had the staff and the support and the office production, circulation, editorial was all in control. As we added one, we would just add some freelance writers and continue to grow the brand.
What do you attribute that to? Like it makes money right away. Is it your popularity? Was it because you guys had a great business model? Did you use the same business model?
Well, I used to we used to have some meetings, our little publishing group, and one thing they were saying, what was your business plan? What was your business model? We didn't have one really. We kind of went into it completely blind, and but with a lot of passion. So, passion, desire to win, to my whole life was my business. My wife at the time used to always say, "Let's buy some decorations for the house. Let's get the house out." No, I want my office looking right. I was so into it, and I was just ate up with it. And I think that desire to be successful with each launch and the passion of our staff. I mean, our staff, I can, and to go back to people always say don't mix business and pleasure a lot of times with your team.
Well, it depends on the business, right?
Yeah, I guess that's the case. But like for me, my staff was my family, and I think we all worked together that way, and we were all so passionate that we were going to win no matter what. And it did. It worked.
They trusted you.
Yes. Yeah. And likewise, I trusted them. It was a definite, both two sides of the deal. We were working to get that win and to make that first launch successful, which it was.
Yeah, I remember seeing Focus magazine all over the place, like where you pull that door down and
Yeah.
it was in a lot of popular, heavy populated areas too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what changed, with that? I know it's it's a print publication, so in the digital world, how are you managing that?
Well, a lot of times you hear some people say, "Oh, well, print's dead," and it certainly is not.
I used to say that print's dead.
It's and in certain areas, I can see, the shift, and the way information is received. People, social is huge, and like I know we were talking earlier that, we're addressing that right now, but now we're just in Plant City.
Okay.
So
you pulled back
every other publication, going from, like as we were discussing with the economy, and we dropped down to 3 products, and then I went through a divorce, which my wife was a big part of the business at the time as well, and we had 3 different deadlines, and the other ones were kind of breaking even at the time, and our money maker and our most successful product has always been our Plant City product. Plant City has been great to us. The magazine has sustained itself through the down times, and now we're back on this upswing. But yeah, we're down to 1 product.
Okay. So Plant City's the headquarters, right?
Yes.
Everything's out of Plant City.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And so are you looking to do something digital now in addition to the print?
Well, to get back to like print not being dead, print. So in Plant City, it's such a small town. If you know the community, everyone cares about the community. They're very, very close, and everyone knows everyone. So when the paper comes out, it's the first thing they want to go get. As soon as that 15th hits, the stands. This last month, I got to ride in the truck and deliver papers again. I haven't done that in years. They kind of analyze our circulation, but when you're putting them in the box, you see the people run up and go, "Oh, is that the new one?" They want it, and they crave it. And I'll tell you, like, the paper in a small town is still successful. You look at even the newspapers now. Naples, thriving like crazy. The villages, somewhere where the older people are.
Yeah.
And also where it's a close-knit community. Tampa, which is so big, it's not going to thrive as well as it will in, say, Plant City. If I launched the same product as I have in Plant City, somewhere right in the middle of Tampa, it wouldn't work.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we're addressing the digital side as well, and we're gonna bring back a product that we had in 2009. We launched Focus TV, and we're gonna deliver it through the social networks.
Okay. Focus TV. Tell me more about that.
Well, it's basically to enhance our print product.
Okay.
So when you take a story, you go cover Plant City Pig Jam, barbecue competition, and you see it in the print, but you want to bring that print to life a little bit too. So we enhance it with a video element that people can, when they see our social side, they'll be able to watch it. They'll be able to go there and see some of the action and see what happened at the event. And we're going to deliver that content in little 1-minute segments.
Attached to the story.
Attached to the story. That's
Okay,
right.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not doing that currently?
No.
Focus TV.
It's November 15th, our launch.
I'm kind of excited for what you're going through right now. You kind of reminded me of like the champion that was, on top, and then he kind of lost the championship and he went back to train like in the hometown kind of thing, almost like a Rocky story.
Yeah. No, it's sometimes you get a little burned out. You run so hard. In the early days. I remember staying 3 days in the office and never going home. You have a deadline to hit, and you have minimal staff when you first start, and you work really, really hard to build that product to what its potential is, and then once you get there, and then you go through a tough time, you get burned out or whatever it is, that product rides off its momentum.
Right.
And we had a lot of momentum running, and that's kind of what it ran off the last 3-4 years. And now we've hired some new sales staff. We have a brand new editor, circulation changes. And with all those different elements coming together, it's getting back to where it was at our peak.
So print is not dead.
No.
Right? I used to think print was dead when I was, I had some people coming to me for advertising. Hey, this will be great, I think I spent one time like $8,000.
Yeah.
To be right-hand read, centerfold, right at the staple, 50,000 people a week or whatever. And I got one customer from it.
Yeah.
And I had to fire that customer. It just wasn't even a good customer, and so
it
just didn't. So I had stacks of this publication in my garage.
It wasn't working for you. Well, we hear that a lot too. And advertising works in different ways. And we used to do a lunch and learn at our office, and we're now in our 17th year, almost 20 years into publishing community papers. So
wait. Focus is 20 years old.
Almost, yeah. We're on our 17th year right now, so we'll turn 18 next year. Yeah.
Wow.
January.
Wow. Go ahead.
So anyway, yeah, almost 20 years old, and so what we've done is over the course of all those years and publishing all the different communities we did, you have hundreds, thousands of businesses that's advertised with us. So you can see firsthand, like say a small business, like an ice cream shop versus an auto dealer versus a financial planner, that runs ads, insurance companies, and the size of the company, and the small ones to the large ones, and you see what their routines are when they buy their ads. And I used to always say, you spend $250 on an ad and you expect your business to grow, 50%. Right. I need at least 20 calls from that. Well, who wouldn't want to spend $250 and get 20 calls?
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that sometimes. I advertised full page ad in the Chamber magazine in their newsletter every single month. I never got one call that said, "Hey, I seen your ad in the Chamber magazine in Plant City and want to buy an ad from you." But the awareness of having Focus Magazine in front of that business community was what was important to me.
Sure.
So that's why I did it. But advertising does work in different ways. But like if you're looking for that direct result, you analyze the ad. What was in the ad to get that direct result? How did you measure? How are you measuring that result? Who's monitoring that?
Sure.
We call it advertisers and we go, okay, what kind of changes do you want? And they'll say, well, hey, just put a red border around it, change it this month, and they spend 3 minutes on their ad, but expect that big result.
Yeah.
Advertising is not that simple. You got to sit down and plan, and it takes time.
Sure.
And there's companies these huge businesses that spend millions of dollars in advertising, plan, execute what their expectations are before they spend that dollar, and then did that program meet their expectations or not? So, and then you analyze it, and you can shift and look at other medias and look at other options. But advertising definitely works. It's a fact.
Well, yeah, it's almost $1 trillion spent in advertising.
You know what? to get it to work, you got to really spend time and look at what you're doing. And that's what we try to tell a lot of small businesses is spend time on your marketing. Have all the reps from all your local papers. Melanie Hall, I remember the marketing director for Brandon Regional. She used to bring all of us in the room, and we had to put our cards on the table in front of our competition.
Yeah, I remember.
But you know
Melanie,
what?
I still see her. Yeah.
But that's how she got the best buy, and that's how she got the best results. But she spent time, and obviously with a company like Brandon Regional, you have they're going to set a plan in place and they're going to execute that plan.
Sure, and they spend big money.
Yes.
One of the things that a lot of small businesses overlook is the branding portion. You can advertise all day long, but if your brand is not recognized because you failed to brand, it doesn't matter what people are seeing. They don't know you.
Yeah, no, branding's important, and branding's more. A lot of people too. Branding's more than a logo. It's more than the materials you put out there. It's what your customers are going to feel when they walk in the door.
Yeah.
So your brand is, it's like I used to say, it's like going to grandma's house. You know what it's going to smell like. You're going to get a big hug. When you sit down on the couch, it's going to be super comfortable. You know what you're getting. Yeah. And a business, if they're advertising something, and you go in there with that expectation, and you're let down, it doesn't mean the ad didn't work. It's your brand's not consistent with your message.
Agreed. What do you think about the rule of 7, where you have to be seen at least 7 times before you're noticed? Is that accurate?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's the rule of 7, but consistency is definitely key.
Yeah.
Someone will come to you and go, "Hey, I want to advertise, one time and see how it works." Big mistake.
That's easy to figure out. It's not going to.
No, that's correct.
Yeah.
Consistency is key, and it's not. And I used to, when I'm out selling, hey, it's not me trying to sell you a longer term contract. You can read any book, Marketing 101, marketing whatever. Consistency is key no matter what. So my advice in that is a lot of people come in want to swing big and go, "Hey, I want that full page." Well, that full page is $700 a month. Well, that's going to stretch my budget. I've got to, no, advertise the quarter page at $250. Keep it in there for 6 months. Look at your program, and then see if it's going to work for you. But no, you can't do it one time and expect results.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of small businesses, especially, they kind of have this idea. Well, I'm just going to put the ad in. I'm going to make the ad myself. I'll use Publisher. I was using Publisher to make my ads.
Yeah.
I'll use Publisher. I don't need to hire a person to do that. I can do this myself. No one knows my business like me.
Yeah.
Except your business is not advertising.
Right.
And so, if you're an advertising business, then that's a different thing. But a lot of small businesses make that mistake. I see it.
Yeah. No,
I made that many times.
I even offer, Scott. I mean, we even tell our customers. I also owned an ad agency back in the heyday. We started an ad agency. Tampa Bay Business Journal ranked us top 20 agency in all of Tampa Bay. Big accomplishment for us. But we handled a lot of advertising. I bought TV, print, radio, billboard. I bought it all for my clients. So when you see what everybody's doing, plus you've dealt with thousands of small businesses, and I tell you, hey, I would love for you to come in my office. I'll spend an hour, 2 hours, whatever it takes. We'll develop your campaign together. Use me, and not. I would say out of 100 businesses, maybe one will take you up on that.
Why do you think that is?
I think people are busy. People are busy, and they just don't want to spend the time on their marketing. But once again, expect the big results when they do it.
I don't buy into people are busy. I think people use that as a reason to avoid doing the thing that they don't want to do.
Okay,
right?
I
mean, you were all busy, right?
Yeah.
You weren't going home for 3 days, Patrick's got all this stuff. He's the one that pulls all the shows together.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing this, and I have a massage practice. But am I busy or am I doing business?
Yeah, no. Well, I agree with that. I think
those are excuses that we use a lot of times. Oh, I meant to call you, but I've been so busy.
Yeah.
Nah, it wasn't on my mind, and I focused on something else.
No, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
I think that's a fear. That's a fear factor.
Yeah.
If you offered me to sit and talk and build my campaign in an area that I'm not, an expert in, and that's part of what I'm paying you to do, and I don't take it up, why?
Right.
It seems weird.
Yeah. Well, we try to do the best job for our customers when even if they don't want to take us up on that. We sit down And a lot of times, I'm hands-on, so I will, if we have a new client, I'll come in and step up and look at kind of what they're currently put out there with their website, their social media, kind of look at the customer from afar, and try to come up with something creative that's going to deliver them results. Because that is my job. It's my job to go to work for you. Once you buy an ad from me, now I got to go to work for you. So, and if I don't bring you results and I don't bring you what you want, I set that expectation too high, I'm not going to retain you as a customer.
Right.
And one of my biggest things we talk about in our meetings is, you look at our magazine, last month was 152 pages in Plant City.
That's huge.
152 pages. And I try to tell people, if it doesn't work, do you feel we'd be around for 20 years and still publishing over 150 pages currently? It's crazy.
That's fascinating, because normally the publications are shrinking, less advertisers. I mean, unless you're putting a bunch of pictures of Mike Floyd every other page, right, to build it up. But I don't see you doing that.
No.
I mean, I didn't even realize that it was that thick again. I remember a couple of years, actually 2012 was kind of a big time, because you featured me on the cover.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And so we did an ad on the inside. I think we did 2 ads. We ran them simultaneously, like 3 months. But that was huge. Yeah. I mean, we went around collecting a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I would give them out, like, yeah, that's me. We have it on the wall outside. Yeah. It's framed. And that really drove a lot of business. Yeah. At a time where economy was down.
Yeah, and that's kind of how, like right now, being as big as this last issue, we call it our business focus, where we know during the summer, traditionally, a lot of your businesses have that little bit of a dip. So we tried to come up years ago with what can we do to fill that void. Our numbers dip, our customers' numbers dip a little bit. How can we build them up? And we come up with these big profiles, and we do them at a nominal fee to our current advertisers. So our whole thing is all about business.
Okay.
And it's showing all the successes and all the people in town. And that's where, they get the most results off of that one issue that used to be one of our worst issues of the year.
Oh, okay.
So it's worked really, really well for us. Then, of course, the Strawberry Festival. It's
right.
It's our biggest event in town, and that is our biggest issue of the year, and it runs it's a pretty thick one.
Yeah, that's around the time of not far off from your anniversary, right?
Yeah, we do that.
That's a big event too.
Yes, and it's grown. We added last year to kind of go back. It's we run our 17th year anniversary party, and we do our Reader's Choice Awards. So we usually give out the best steak, best coffee, and so on in town, all about food. Well, last year we incorporated business awards as well, and we gave out over 53 awards. The place was 650 people deep. It was really, really big, and this year we have a few surprises up our hands to kind of take it to that next level as well. But a big event, we do it the 3rd Thursday in February, and that's actually the release of our Strawberry Festival edition at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So it all kind of goes hand in hand, yeah.
Yeah, man, I've been there a couple times. You rent out that portion of the winery, Keel and Curly.
Keel and Curly.
Yeah.
We've been doing out there for a few years, and it works out great out there.
Keeping it Plant City.
Yeah.
We had some places out in Plant City that we used to live out there and move back into Brandon, but yeah, I kind of like Plant City.
Yeah, I love it. I'm born and raised in Tampa. Grew up in Tampa my whole life. Graduated Chamberlain High School, and then started dating my wife at the time between my junior and senior year, and she lived in Plant City. And when she's like, "Okay, that's where we're going to live," it was a change of a pace for me, but I'll tell you, I've grown to love it, and I can't see myself living anywhere else, to be honest.
It's grown significantly even since I've been there, and that's
huge. I've
been there in 10 years.
Yeah, last 10, 15 years. I mean, and it just continues to grow more and more.
Yeah. So you grew up in Tampa. Tell me about motocross. How'd you get into that?
Well, as I was 11 years old, I think, when I started racing. So I got my first motorcycle around 10, 11. So the next bike that I got was a CR80 Honda that I was like, I want to race, and that was what I wanted. And my parents got it for me, and I started racing, and it kind of set me up for everything I'm doing in life right now. Motocross has been it's a wonderful sport. It's a great family sport. I have an 11-year-old that races right now as well, and but it transitioned me into repping for some of those brands that transitioned me into. That's how I met my wife. Transitioning into, how I started my first magazine. It was a motocross magazine, into what I do today, and then recently bought a motocross track. It's going on about 5 years. Called Tampa MX, and we do that. So we have a big event this weekend.
Where is that?
We out of East Bay Raceway.
I'm not familiar.
41. The address is actually Tampa, but kind of like the Riverview area.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we've done that. We have a couple really big events that we put on, and then annually about 12 races.
And your son races. I've seen him, a bunch of pictures of him. I remember when he was just a little guy. He's the same age, roughly, as my son.
Yeah, 11 years old.
And
yeah.
my son's 12, but your son has been riding for a while.
Yeah, he started racing BMX at 5, like right tail end of 4. So 4 or 5 years old racing BMX, and then 5 years old we transitioned into motocross. We started racing around 5.
I was riding like Bill, Nan, Ted at 5. Your kid's riding motorcycles.
Yeah.
So no fear of that, like as a parent?
Yes, definitely. And I can remember, my parents when I raced. My mom going, "I'm going to burn those motorcycles." I hate them. And as a kid, I was like, "Mom, that's what I want to do." And my dad was, in law enforcement, pretty much his entire life. Been retired. I think he's on his 4th retirement from law enforcement. So he was a big believer in no matter what, in life, you're going to do something. You're going to be involved in something. You're not going to sit home. You're going to do football, baseball, motocross, whatever it is you pick, but you're going to do something to stay busy. And we did the baseball, football thing when I was, first could start playing, and all my brothers did too. And then I ventured off in this motocross world. But my parents, my mom mainly, she hated it.
I bet.
But it's what I wanted to do, and my dad and mom both supported me real heavy in it, and I went up to the pro level and realized I wasn't going to make a living at it, so that didn't last too long.
Well, at least you didn't, break your body trying.
I mean, there's been several breaks, but broken bone heals, but some of the other injuries they scare me to death having my 11-year-old. So now, doing a 180 and the tables turn that I have a kid racing. It does. It scares me. It scares me because it's not, if they're going to get hurt. They are.
Just a matter of when or how bad.
That's right.
Yeah.
How bad.
You got an older son.
Mm-hmm.
Does he race as well?
No, he's never had any interest in it whatsoever. He just graduated, and we're trying to figure out what's next in his life.
Yeah, he did pretty well. I was there at graduation.
Yeah,
it was like 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, he did a nice little speech. He was senior class vice president, and I was a little nervous for him up there, but he did great.
Yeah, it's a big audience.
Yeah.
Out at the fairgrounds. He was, you said vice president?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of remember there was a little bit of a campaign going, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a popular kid.
Yeah.
Good kid.
Yeah.
Got good grades.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is he into yet?
No, he hasn't shown much interest in a whole lot right now, but
how old is he?
We're working on 18.
Well, he's 18, so not a lot of interest in a lot of different things, I guess.
Yeah.
Hard to say,
Yeah, at 18 I didn't have it figured out, so I'm kind of.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be a professional baseball player when I was 18.
Yeah.
I was literally signing baseball cards with a Sharpie, practicing my autographs.
We all do. I did. You do it with motocross, same thing.
Yeah.
But at 18, I think I was detailing cars. This was my first business. I started a mobile detailing business, and I did that for a couple years, and it grew like crazy. We were doing all the Bill Curry Fords, all the big, huge car lots.
Dealerships.
We did all their outside work. I had a lot of used car lots. I did a lot of the high-end stuff, and I did that for a couple years, and never in a million years I think I'd end up in publishing. I mean, it's kind of a reverse engineered thing for me, though, too. A lot of publishers are great writers. They start out as a great writer, and they want to publish something. So the magazine world, a lot of your publishers, are journalists.
Right.
I'm more of a marketing guy, sales guy. So I have a great right now. Like I said, we just got a new editor. About our past editor, she's still going to be with us and write stories for us. She's just kind of taking a step back a little bit, but we have a great editorial team, and they do a wonderful job with the magazine. So I just kind of try to stick on the promotion side and the creative side.
Okay. So are you there day to day, hands-on stuff?
Yeah, I'm there every day. Very hands-on. We're a small staff now. We were, we at our peak we were at 25 people in the office, and now we're down to we have 4 sales reps, or 3 full-time salespeople, 1 office manager that kind of runs everything, and she handles the majority of the sales actually, and then we have production, our new editor, and distribution. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
So your publication is a little bit different from a lot of them because yours is free. Mm-hmm. Has it always been free to the reader?
Yeah, always. Yeah, we're 100% supported by our advertisers.
So that helps obviously because if you have to pay $1.50, $2, $5 or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to rely on those sales in order to be successful.
Right. Yeah. No. We can. It's up to us to get out there and sell it and knock on the doors and. But being free also, you have a lot of challenges as well. With circulation, like I said, I just stepped in this last month. Actually, I was forced to step in. My distribution guy broke his ankle.
Okay.
So we were scrambling last minute to figure out who's going to deliver the papers, and we stepped in, and I was able to do it. But what the good part is that by being out there, you get to see kind of what's going on. And I haven't delivered papers in 15 years. So to see where like our boxes are and strategically, look at how many each box dispenses. Each magazine's a little missile for our advertiser to generate revenue for them.
Right.
So if I can put every one of our magazines into a hand of a potential consumer to our advertiser, that's how everybody wins. So it's very crucial to make sure all the magazines go out. And when you're free, sometimes you get out there and you just sling them as much as you can, and it's not strategic.
Yeah. So
for us, number one is our box. Someone goes and opens that door, they want it.
How do you determine where the boxes go?
Well, that's a couple different ways. You'll see them on the streets where there's a bunch of them in a row somewhere. That's kind of a popular place. Gas stations, restaurants, so on and so on. But what you'll see is like if you go around Plant City, you'll see Focus sometimes stand alone by itself. We won't be in a bank of boxes.
Right.
Because having our hand on the pulse of the community, you kind of know where those patterns of people go. So I really, living there, knowing the community, being in it almost 20 years with our magazine, you'll see some of our stuff placed a little differently than some of the other papers. But there's no rhyme or reason. You just look at you look at the patterns of the people and where the bulk of the people are going, where you feel they're going to pick it up, and that's where we place them. But number one is that box. That's what we look at the most. If I can dispense everything out of a box, I would. But
where else do you dispense it out of?
So we'll racks. So we have box, rack, and then home. So and it's in that exact order. So back in the day, we used to throw 12,000 homes and dispense 3,000 out of boxes and racks because the popularity of the magazine wasn't there.
Right.
So we had to make sure we got them on the driveways. So now, as the popularity of the magazine has increased, we throw 6,000 homes, and the rest go into boxes and racks. We print a total of 15,000.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Especially still, again, for print advertising. And it's all Plant City.
All Plant City.
Do you plan on expanding out again?
What we're working on right now is a food magazine. That's our next move. In 2019, we're planning on launching it. So
I'd read that. I like food.
Everybody eats.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm going with it. It's and the popularity of some of the Yelp and all the different apps out there now. So we're gonna kind of localize what Yelp does, but maybe it's going to be local.
Okay.
It's going to
Like
be
critics and
accurate.
everything? Food critics?
You're going to have not really critics, but more so profiles. Kind of because critics, you go on there, you can give someone a bad review if you're, but yet you could be a little disgruntled with whatever, and it's not really accurate. Some of them are, and some of them aren't. It's just hard to tell. But we're going to have this food product, and it's going to be very localized. It's going to have an app to go with it, and I think it's going to do really well. We're excited about it.
That sounds good. Does Focus have an app now?
We do not. We do not.
That's something you're considering at all?
We actually, because of the food magazine, we're getting quotes on that one, and I'm having them quote something for Focus as well. I feel we're ready for it. I feel we need to get that next step. So, yeah, we're definitely want to get one going here soon.
That sounds good. Mm-hmm. Tell me about more the motocross thing. Let's get back to that because that's something that it's your passion.
Yep.
And you said you have a lot of big events. I knew you had it. I had no idea where it was, and I've never been there.
Yeah, it's we bought it, or I bought it about 5 years ago. I had a partner. We bought it together. I was going in to buy it, and then I decided not to because it's every weekend. So basically, you're working all week, and then you're at the track all weekend. So it's a lot of work. But I had a partnership change about 2 years ago, and we have a wonderful partnership. I mean, it works out great, and we've taken a facility that was losing money every single month, that was kind of just in the dumps, and we went in, we built new announcer towers, nice new fencing. We just put in 10 RV hookups with water and electric.
So people travel and stay
oh yeah,
there?
no, yeah.
Cool.
Our this weekend we have the Florida Gold Cup Series, which is kind of like the Florida State Championship series coming to our track for the first time. And yeah, you have people traveling, out of state to come race.
Do you have a team, or is it just on the track?
It's all no. It's just well, you talking about worker like?
No, I'm talking about. Do you have like a race team?
No, it's all individual racers that come down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And so does your son race there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got to come check that out.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's definitely from the magazine to actually the racetrack. It's totally two different type businesses. But at the same time, my role in the business is the marketing side, the advertising side, the business side, and my partner handles kind of the day-to-day, the track building, running the dozer, the water truck, facility maintenance, and we work really, really well together. And we have another, our team out there from our medics to our flaggers to our office staff. Everyone, just does an amazing job. And the track is we just put up a new series we come up with last year. And right now we're having the largest attendance in the entire state at our facility.
Really? And you have an event coming this Saturday?
This Saturday, yeah.
We're going to come check that out. I'm going to bring
You
my little
should,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do that. That sounds like it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's a good time, man. It's a good family sport. They have food vendors out there, and
right.
And they get to watch some dirt bikes race, and it's fun.
So you and I, we go back quite a bit. We partied a lot together.
A little bit.
I tell a story all the time of so Focus magazine was sponsoring an event at the rack.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I ever had Fireball. Right. And so, if you know me, when I go out a lot, I wear suits and everything, And so here we are putting back Fireball, tastes like Big Red.
Yep.
And we're just going and going. And you said, hey, let's get out of here. Let's go over to the Dallas Bull. And I kind of laughed. I was like, I'm wearing a suit, I always pictured the Dallas Bull of having sawdust on the floor.
Yeah.
Like a butcher shop. So we go there and, we're just like hammered. And I remember just kind of going, I think I'm going to leave now, but I don't remember anything. And so the next thing I remember is my doorbell's ringing at home. And I wake up and I'm under the covers in a suit, shoes on, jacket buttoned still. And I kind of walk out of the room and I stumble over and I open the door and it's my son. I'm supposed to be taking him to school.
Oh, boy.
And he looks at me, and I'm in this suit that literally looks like I slept in it. And he says, Dad, why are you all dressed up?
I'm ready to get the day
It's
started.
like 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, I have a meeting.
Yeah.
And he goes, are you going to iron your suit? I'm like, no, we're going to go like this, you know. I was so hungover.
Yeah.
But I remember that day because that's when I had a huge respect for Fireball.
Yeah.
That was the first time I've ever had it, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, you and I, we party, like I said, a bunch of times, but I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I can't do that much anymore.
Yeah,
Getting older, I guess.
I can't do much of that either. So I know that you were kind of going through some challenges in your marriage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, you know, like I said, we met when I was 17, and we're married all the way. I got divorced, I think, at 38. So we're together a very long time. We built a business together, and you know, when you lose your teammate like that, you know, you're faced with a lot of challenges.
Sure.
You know, family-wise and business-wise and everything, and it's a challenging time. It was a super challenging time in my life, and you know, when you go through those changes and you really kind of, you don't know really what to do. You don't know what's next. You know, I've never not been without my teammate, you know, and my partner and everything, you know. So when you go through those changes, it took some time. And I think that's kind of where I am now in my life, you know. Fast forward, you know, 5 years and you're ready to go again. So yeah. It just took some time to recharge and get things, you know, back to normal and they can get refocused on the business. No pun intended.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned that because I know that she was a huge part of your sales portion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that affected the business tremendously. Yes. I can imagine.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you're starting to recover from that.
Yeah.
Do you guys still work together at all?
No, not anymore.
Okay. She's off doing something else.
Yeah.
All right. So was that a time you felt maybe I'm done with the magazine, I'm going to go do something else, or did you?
I'll be honest, yeah, there definitely was a time that I felt that we were going to be done with it. You know, you're tired, you're beat down, you're like, you know, and we were talking to the Tampa Tribune at the time, and we had looked at possibly selling, and thank God I didn't, you know, and now with all the changes over there, but
yeah, well, they were consumed by the
time. So yeah, it was I almost threw in the towel. And
so what changed? What made you decide? You know that Hulk Hogan moment when he's getting beat down and
yeah,
he's in the choke and they drop the arm 3 times?
I guess at the time it all was about the offer. So the offer didn't come in what we wanted. So we didn't do it. But you know, what's changed now is just a re-energized feeling of, you know, wanting to build it back to where it was, and then to keep growing and keep expanding. And you know, at one point we had these huge dreams of being one of the largest locally owned community papers in the world. You know, it's kind of, you have these huge dreams, and we were growing at a fast rate at the time. But now that you know, you've kind of gone through some tough times and now realize kind of where it was and see that vision again, I think it's we're on our way back up.
I know that you have a lot of support from the community.
Yeah.
You're a local guy, the paper's local, especially Plant City, and your advertisers are mostly local, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're I would say 98% are all local. We are putting some reps in the Lakeland and Brandon area. We have one in Lakeland now. Working on getting one over here in Brandon, and just because us Plant Cityans, we eat, shop, and we're entertained. Sometimes, you know, a lot of times outside of our community. So you're there Monday through Friday, and you're eating at all the restaurants. And you know, when it comes time for dinner, you may want to venture out a little bit. So,
sure.
We feel there's a lot of ads that we're missing over in these outlining areas, and we're starting to capitalize on that. And I can, you know, in the last 3 months, our book has doubled from last year. I mean,
wow.
Up 50% from last year. So
you may literally be the only publication in the country doing those kinds of turnarounds.
It's crazy. I mean, I've had a lot of different publishers come and meet with me, and they're like, man, Plant City is so small. How do you do what you do here? Like the magazine, like it's crazy. We would never have planned on putting something like that here, you know, and it's just, I feel it's all about passion. And then once we have some advertisers been with us for 17 years, never left one issue, and that to me, just the support we have from the community, and, we try to give back as much as we can as well, and it just works, it works.
Yeah, it's very unique.
It is.
It's very unique. I mean, you have obviously readership loyalty, or you wouldn't keep putting out papers that are or publications that are 152 pages, and for 17 years, never missed a deadline.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
I know that you guys had some ups and downs, but I've never not seen Focus magazine.
Oh, we've never missed a month. Yeah, it's been out every single month since day one.
Yeah, that's a long time. That's a lot of grinding.
Yeah.
That's day in, day out, sleepless nights, right?
No,
it has to be.
A lot of sleepless nights. And like I said, especially when you're publishing 13 of them. We had 3 offices. We had, you're involved in think about 13 chambers, 13 after hours, 13 breakfasts, networking events. And
multiple sales reps.
We had, 12 sales reps, sales manager, all these. It was a super fast-paced business, and the ad agency running at the same time. So
do you think it's possible you guys grew too quickly?
No, I think our growth was good. We learned a lot. I learned a lot with as far as employees go, and the challenges that we face. Like when you launch a new product and it's super successful, then you have employees that may not be working out, so you make some decisions that affected that particular product. So. And you do it again, and you go, man, I did it twice. I can't let it happen the third time, So we learned a lot along the way, but we learned from our mistakes, and we made changes to so that didn't happen again. So no, I think we grew at a fast pace, but it was a controlled fast pace. Okay. And it's just, I think, when the economy dropped in 08, 09. We had some of our best years because, like we talked about earlier, people spending money to try to stay going. But then, as soon as that money ran out, we dropped fast.
Yeah.
First thing people cut is advertising, or don't pay their bill. They'll keep going, but then you get stuck with them not paying the bill. So it was a tough time. We dropped quite a bit, but once again, because of our growth, we were financially in a good position. A lot of our we had our minimal expenses, and we're able to control our company really good during that time to keep it stable. So we made it through it, and now I think we're back on our way up.
Who do you go to bounce stuff off of? Like, hey, I have this idea, or I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do now. Do you have a person like that you confide in?
I would say it's not one person solely, but you have a lot of good, really close friends that are business owners that we bounce ideas off of, or talk about our businesses together. But I'm also very transparent to my employees too, and we have a good team, and like I said, they're family.
Right.
So we'll talk about what do we do better than everyone? What are we struggling with right now? And that's like my 2 questions I ask in a lot of the meetings are, what do we do better than everyone, and what do we need, and what are our biggest challenges? And when you constantly adjust those, I think that sets you up to move forward that next month.
Okay.
After
do you guys outsource any of the printing? Like, how does all that work?
Yeah, printing.
Most people don't even know how that works.
Yeah, the print the print facility we use is the Naples Daily News, is who prints our paper.
Okay.
Used to be Bill Barker was the publisher of the Tampa Tribune, and me and him started talking a lot, meeting for lunch and stuff. And when the Tampa Tribune was acquired by the Times, he went down to the Naples Daily News, and I kind of followed him down there and started printing with them, and they do a wonderful job printing. Before that was the Lakeland Ledger, which was owned by the New York Times at the time, and we were with them for almost 10 years.
Okay.
But yeah, the print facilities are massive, multi-million-dollar print facilities that print these products.
I asked that because you said you adjust things with your employees. What are we struggling with? Mm-hmm. And so I look to see, when I find things that I'm struggling with, I don't try to improve those things. I just hand those to people that's their strength.
Yeah.
And I know printing, I mean, you're not going to be there running a printing press at 2 a.m.
No, yeah, we can't do that. We have our production. We've had the same guy doing the production, the layout of the product for. He's been with us for over 10 years, and our distribution guy has been doing it since day one, 17 years. Our front desk, she's phenomenal, Candy. She does a great job, and our 2 reps.
She's super fun, Candy.
Oh yeah, she is. She's held it together. Probably one of my 2 roughest years ever in business. She's been the one there and kept it together and pretty much ran every aspect of the business for a little while. So
I met her a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
She's a lot of fun, down to earth.
Yes, she is.
We became Facebook friends and all that, and she's always posting some things that make you smile. She's a good person. She speaks highly of you too.
Yeah, she's definitely a tremendous asset for us.
Yeah, that's great. So now where do you go? What's the plan?
Well, what's next is continue to develop what we're doing at Focus. We do have a golf tournament we're putting together to benefit Hook a Hero Foundation, which is going to be at Buckhorn, Springs, October 18th. We got that going on. We got we're gearing up now just for our anniversary party, so it's getting started.
I can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's a good time every year. We really enjoy that. It's a stressful time of our year. Probably the most stressful time of my life is that February to March, and coincidentally we run the biggest event at our racetrack the 1st of March. So both things are like it's all piled up. So it's a really busy time, stressful time of my life. But anyway, the magazine, like I said, we're experiencing a lot of growth right now. Things are going really well. We're moving in the right direction. We're going to launch the Focus TV in November, food magazine next year. So yeah, there's a lot of good things I think coming down the pipeline.
Okay, so Focus TV, what is that going to look like? Where do people find it? Is it going to be strictly social media platform?
We'll put it on both of our social networks, and then we're also going to do a YouTube and then on our website as well.
Okay, and that'll be just stories that are attached, videos and maybe interviews, small interviews attached to the story.
Give some of our advertisers the opportunity to get out there digitally as well. So you have the 1-minute segment on the content version, and then it's followed up with a commercial for the business as well. So you kind of get that little bit of a digital component to go with your print product.
That sounds like a good idea. Let's switch gears a little bit here. So you had your ups and downs. Probably would tell me, Scott, I have no regrets. Everything happened the way it was supposed to. I feel good. I'm confident. But let's go back. If you can visit 20-year-old Mike Floyd, motocross guy. Hey, kid, pay attention. This is some advice I want to give you. What are you going to tell him?
Well, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think things have worked out really well. A lot of life lessons along the way, but I don't know if I would change anything right now. Everything is moving in the right direction, and never did I think 20-year-old Mike Floyd would be publishing magazines for sure. But I'm glad the way it worked out. I think things happen for a reason, and I think Steve Jobs said in his commencement speech, you can't connect the dots moving forward, only looking back.
Gotcha.
And looking back, connecting those dots, I'm in a good spot right now, and I think, in 2 years we're going to be looking back going, wow, the next 2 years are going to be very crucial for our growth and development, both personally and professionally. So, I don't know. I think I'm happy with the way things have gone.
That's interesting. I say that because you and Chris Myers are good friends, right? Mm-hmm. And I've asked that question. How many shows have we done, Patrick? 25, 28? We haven't released all of them, but we're close to 30. And so you and him are the only 2 people that ever answered that question the same way.
Really?
Yep. Just wouldn't change anything. Just
yeah.
Only 2 people that said that.
Yeah, it's looking back, even looking at where I was at 20-year-old detailing cars,
There's a lot of 20-year-olds living in their mom's garage, not doing anything.
Yeah, no, it's things have been really good. I've experienced some really good times and really good successes, and and from nothing, from a credit card, and you just you look back, go, man, look what we used to do. Look what we used to do, and I'm tired of hearing that.
Yeah, look what we used
look
to
what I
do.
used to do. We used to do this. We used to do that, and that's kind of been our thing in our meetings too. It's like you hear a lot of used tos.
Yeah.
So now we got to get back to here's what we're doing. And
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people probably would say they use that to trigger some type of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
But you used to, that none of that exists anymore. The whole world has changed. Even the way people communicate has changed. You and I had 5 or 6 conversations in the past 2 days, and we only spoke once on the phone,
Yeah.
right? So communication is different. My
Yeah.
daughter sends me a text, I'm home, from
right.
school or whatever,
Yeah.
and my son is like, Dad, can I go play this? Or,
Right.
and we communicate to masses in social media. We
Yeah.
communicate through Instagram and Twitter and all that. The president threatens countries through Twitter. That's how he does it. You know what I mean? But overall,
Right.
that form of communication, one of the very early forms of written communication, you're still doing it.
Yeah.
And it's actually growing. And that's one of the things, my takeaway from all of this is, you're doing something that is so unique. I'm not even sure you realize that.
No, I mean, I'll tell you, I'm fascinated by like the industry as a whole. Like even when you look at a daily paper, and of course we're on a monthly cycle, but when you look at a daily paper and people go, you got to think all that they do it. They put out a new product every single day, whether it's a hurricane, whether it's rain, sleet, snow. That new product is delivered to your driveway every day with new content, a new piece of paper printed. And all these elements coming together. It's a true art form. I love it. I'm fascinated by how that can happen all around the country. And the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or whatever, I mean, they deliver everywhere.
But none of those are
Every day.
growing in
Every
50%
day.
rate.
Yeah, well, it's,
None of those. I mean, the New York Times is the New York Times. You have like
Yeah.
3, right? You have like the Washington Post, the New York Times, and the Wall Street Journal, right? I mean, I don't even know what California has as a newspaper, right? But those are the 3 giants.
Yeah.
And they're giant, like, without a doubt. And they're not even growing that way.
Yeah, I'm not really sure kind of where, I don't really watch that too much. And I don't even, we try to, for us, our product, is obviously it's small, but, we're growing, and I'm
Yeah.
happy with the way things are going.
Yeah.
And I think, going into next year with a couple new ideas is really going to take that next step. And we're this close, we're this close.
Yeah, I love that, man. I go, print advertising, when people pour into the office every couple of days,
Yeah,
every
of
couple
course,
of weeks,
yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
We'll put you on, shopping carts at, Publix or whatever. And I just go, that's not my thing. But also, I hear this conversation now, and you're telling me the numbers, and I obviously believe them, and I go, this is very, very unique.
Mm-hmm.
So either you are brilliant, or you have no idea what you're doing, and I'm going to lean towards you're brilliant, because
Well,
I mean, look at what you're doing. This is something that can't be ignored.
The one thing that like I like to kind of pride myself on is, I have done every aspect of the business. I have, I started it in my bedroom. So the design aspect, I've designed the whole magazine. I've sold the whole magazine. I've written the whole magazine. I've distributed the whole magazine. You do every aspect of that business, and a lot of people that do what I do have not done that. They can't step in and design ads. They can't step in and, deliver papers or write stories or, I don't write anymore really, but, at the end of the day, to have your hands on every aspect of the business and to understand it that well, like I know my business really well. I've been doing it a long time. I've dealt with a lot of different small businesses and different publishers and different medias, and the industry is interesting, and I love it. I'm fascinated by it. So I just love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do, and I think and our employees are the same way, and that's, I think, the reason why we're succeeding right now.
I think it's your leadership as well. It has to be. It has to be your ability to stay cool in that tough time.
Yeah.
You say you're stressed out, and when you have your event, I'm always like, "Where's Mike?" Everyone's like, "Where's Mike?" Right? And so you're hosting, you're setting everything up, you have all these things going, and you never look flustered. You're just kind of cool.
I'm pretty laid back. I mean, that is my nature. I'm pretty laid back, but deep down, yeah, there's a lot of stress going on in there.
Yeah, I mean, you're in charge of a lot,
Yeah.
and I've a lot of people have sat in your chair. People that are, it's interesting because everybody that I interview, everybody I talk to, they're always a level above me, multiple levels above me, and everyone has their ideas of what they think success is, what they think hard times are, but it really just kind of boils down to your ability to do what you love and do it well.
Yeah. I agree.
And I used to think, yeah, well, passion is the way to go. You'll never work a day in your life if you love what you do. But unfortunately, you can't put that. You can't pay bills with passion. You can't do those things. You have to make money, and you have to know how to sell at some point.
Yeah.
And it seems like you do those things really well. You don't strike me as a guy who runs a publication.
Yeah.
When I first met you, I didn't think that. If you said motocross, I'd say, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
And now I probably thought maybe this guy does a bunch of mudding in his truck or something like that,
Yeah.
But, and then I read your publication. I was interested in it. It had good articles. It was well laid out, some color. I thought that was cool. I don't read much of it anymore because I don't have access to it.
Yeah, we're not over in Brand anymore. Yeah.
I think it's great, and I was honored to be on the cover. Article about me. My buddy Leonard, he framed that thing for me as a gift, man.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, take a ride with me. We went to this frame shop, and he had it already, and I put it up in my office, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's hanging right in there when you walk in.
Yeah.
And actually, we were on the cover the following year as a group for like minority-owned businesses.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that one.
That was cool too. I really felt like a good connection to not only people in Plant City, but just overall.
Yeah.
It really felt good. I was like, yeah, not only seeing myself on a newspaper cover, or not a newspaper, but the publication, but it was interesting because people would say, you look familiar to me. I recognize you from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I would say, maybe you saw me on the cover of Focus.
Yeah, it's been our biggest, our best testimonials has been when people get on the cover. I mean, I didn't realize that many people read the magazine. All their friends and family send them messages and everything. So yeah.
And your boxes are when you drive by. You can stop your car, get out, and people probably at a red light look over, saw my face.
Yeah.
It was right by my kid's school. Yeah. So literally on the corner every day, I'd look and I say, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
The amount's going down. People are taking them.
Yeah.
So that felt good. What kind of advice would you give to an entrepreneur that's just starting out, wanting to do something like similar to what you're doing, which is challenging, right? Most people think, if you ask 10 people, 8 of them say Prince dead.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. They definitely do. And I mean, advice in publishing is I started with a product that I loved. I started with motocross. It was my passion. I was able to put out a product about something that I love and enjoy and spend a lot of time in my life doing, and that's I believe why it was successful. I'm very involved, and now then take the flip side of starting Focus. I didn't know anything. I lived in Plant City. I worked my office was in St. Pete. I didn't know anyone. I didn't even know what a chamber of commerce was. So. I mean, I just say, I've always, one of my favorite mottos is, if you don't swing the bat, you're never going to get a hit.
Makes sense.
And there's a lot of times you swing and you miss that ball, but when you connect, you can get that home run. So I say swing the bat. If it's something you want to do, go for it. You're just going to keep building your resume and learning along the way. So just swing the bat.
Cool. When the Chamber had their publication and their directory, there was some talk about going to Focus and seeing if they would be interested in taking it. I remember that clearly. And you sat on the board, right? We sat on the board together a little bit.
Yeah.
And we had those conversations about, this thing's going away, this thing's going away. And it went from their biggest revenue generator to zero,
And it was a great Yellow Pages. I mean, back in the day when I first started, 17 years ago, I remember coming over to Brandon. That thing was a monster.
Yeah.
And
you can put your kid.
Yes, it was a monster.
Let them sit on it. Yeah. They were generating millions of dollars.
Oh yeah. It was a very well respected Yellow Pages for sure. So, It does and our industry, like the phone directory as a whole, of course our phones have taken that over. Everybody's phone numbers, that's how they're going to get them. But where I'm at, I feel that there's always going to be a need and a want for community news, community stories. We pride ourselves on being 100% positive. I don't write anything negative. Everything we put in our magazine is to build up the community, not to knock it down. We're not a news source. We're telling people's good stories about events and happenings. But there's always going to be a need and want for that type of content. How it's delivered to the masses it may change, may not, may whatever. We can evolve with that. It's not hard to put it on a digital, which we are. You can view ours, through a flip book online if you want. You can see our content online. You can do all that. But the most powerful source to bring that to the masses right now is through print. In our local community, it's not going to get to them any other way. Yeah. You look at our online, we have about 2,000 to 3,000 views online of our digital product, but yet we can have 400 returns of 15,000 magazines. It's still being picked up and read more than our digital component. So,
think that's related to the demographic?
Sure. Absolutely. Depending on where you are, that will definitely change. But even a digital component, how are you going to reach all those people? How are you going to get in front of them if they don't care? Even if I put it right in front of their face, if they don't care about the product, they're not going to digest it.
Yeah.
So people that read Focus, we did our 100th issue years ago. And we were trying to find a few people that had all 100 copies. We found 3 or 4 people that we featured in the magazine that had the entire 100 copies of Focus magazine.
Wow.
And that was just people in our circle. We get calls all the time from the office of people, that want, or have copies from way back or whatever. But I remember when y'all did a story in 2008 on blah 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 blah, and I'm like, it's pretty cool to hear those stories, but people care, and they want it, So if the media changes on how they want it delivered, we can adapt to that. I'm not worried that we're in the print business right now and it could die. Sure, it could, but I will adapt to that as well. I'm gonna change the way it's delivered if that's what it is. That's not hard.
Doesn't really change the product, I guess, is what you're saying, right?
No, just if we print it on paper, we touch it in the air. We can put it there. So it's the content people are out. How it's delivered is, can change and move and bob and weave. But we're gonna, and we will adapt to that. But right now, as a business owner, I could come to you and go, hey, I got this magazine I put online. It's going to be $700 a month. You want to buy it? It ain't going to happen. I can't sell that, But if I print it, I can sell it.
There's some tangible portion of there. Yeah, when I travel, like on planes, I still read the newspaper. Mm-hmm. I could get into my phone and watch a movie, but I read the newspaper. And when I lived in New York, I always read the newspaper on the subway.
Yeah, it's a luxury, to sit down and be able to read and take time for yourself. And
I hardly do now. The newspaper that I would read cost $3. Mm-hmm. I can't see myself paying $3 a day for the newspaper. Mm-hmm. I get my news other ways, but I remember clearly every day on the subway I read the newspaper. It was a thing, and then you left it for someone else. You put it on you got out from your chair, you put it down.
Yep.
And someone else is going to pick it up and read it.
It's changing. News is different from us, though. News is.
Well, I was kind of talking about the print advertising portion, and stories.
Yeah, news is. From TV to your phones to that's definitely changed quite a bit. Now I know they've tried different paid portals and ways to get try to generate some revenue to give content, but for me it's we try to stay in our lane and not really, I look at our competition and look at other medias out there, like when I travel especially, I love picking up other products and looking at what they do, but we talk about this in the office quite a bit, is I don't want you guys to be influenced by what other people are doing.
Which is very difficult.
And more so than our reps, I don't like to pick up our competitors in our market. I don't, because I don't want to be influenced by something they're doing. I like to stay in my lane. I like to keep my my blinders on and do what I want to innovate, what I want to do, what I feel our company should be doing. And I think that type of leading and let your competitors, oh, what's he doing, and he's got that ad. Let me go try to get that ad. No, I don't want to be influenced by theirs. I want to get my own and move forward. I think that was a big part of our growth early on is I didn't even know what our competitors were. I started the magazine and had no idea. And I've kind of taken that same philosophy from day one and continued to move forward with it. It's just stay focused on what we're doing. Don't worry about our competitors, I'm cognizant of them. Sure. I know that they're there, and I know, I can see when you want to know when they're making moves, but at the same time, I want to stay focused on what we do good.
If you lead in the pack, you can't see what other people are doing.
That's correct. That's kind of been our motto of the office. So.
And it's been effective.
Yeah.
I like that. I think it's great. So talk about the event that's coming up. We'll try to get this out. The 18th, right, of October.
Yeah, the golf tournament's gonna be our first. We used to always say we're community magazine. We want to try to give back to the community as much as possible. So this year, for the first time, we're doing a golf tournament. We've never put one on. We kind of teamed up with Hook a Hero, which benefits first responders, and it's going to be a fun tournament. We want it to be super fun. There's going to be a 9-hole scramble, so it's kind of short. We're doing a putting party at the end. We have a different brewery on every hole, giving out samples. So you have 9 different breweries. Which should be kind of a fun little twist to it. But
we'll see what happens from hole 8 to 9.
All proceeds benefit the Hook a Hero Foundation. So 100% of the proceeds. We can do 72 players. I think we're about half full right now. So then over the next week, we hope to fill all those spots.
How do people find out about it?
It's herogolftournament.com.
Okay.
Is where they can register. Or call our office.
How do they call your office? What's the number there?
813-707-8783.
Cool. And the website is for Focus Magazine?
FocusPlantCity.com.
Cool. I think we're going to kind of wrap up right now and just kind of hang out later, do the thing on the outside. Appreciate you coming in, man.
Yeah, thank you.
I love to hear that story, man. Yeah. And I always tell the one about me, Fireball. First time
I didn't remember that one, so I'm glad we got to.
Yeah, man. Fully clothed. Suit was buttoned. I was sweating bullets.
Love it.
All right, that's going to do it. Thanks for listening.